If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hi, Sunil. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, so did you get chance to log into the tenant, Sunil?
I did, yes.
Okay. So did you access any of the transactions?
No, I didn't. I didn't have anything to do, right? I mean, was there
No,
anything?
it is.
I mean, if you tell me what exercise or to do, I will do it. So.
Sure, sure. Today
So
we will go
I
through
see.
that.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
lab activities in your materials. So maybe
Yes.
you tell me
Yes.
what I have to finish,
Yes.
and before tomorrow's training, I'll finish this. So.
Yeah, sure. Definitely, Sunil. We
So,
can look into that, the lab activity. So before that, let's have a recap of what we have discussed in the previous class. Okay. So
yep.
earlier we have discussed about, the functional area, and then we also discussed about the domain. Each functional area will have the domain and the business security policy, business process security policy. Okay, for any domain, you can go to view domain, and then you can look into the what kind of permission in that domain is consist of, whether it has a view only access, or whether it has a modify access. Okay, and the domain which has view only access, the user can go and then only view those tasks. Okay, the user will not have any access to maintain that. For example, let's say for any employee, right? Employee have access to view their compensation detail. Okay, so as an employee, if I can log into Workday, I have view access to my compensation detail, but I will not have any modify access to the compensation area because of the security access. Okay.
Right.
And if we have the modify access, so if any domain which consists of a modify permission, means by default it will have the view access as well as the modify. Okay.
Okay.
Like as a time administrator, if somebody is going, entering time on behalf of any employee, okay, they will have the view. They have the view access to view their time sheet, as well as they have the modify access, like they will enter on behalf of any employee. Okay, so that is how the security is designed based on the domain, the view and based on view access and the modify access. Okay. And also we discussed about the security policy for view security for secureable item. So in that, what do we see in the view security for secureable item? So you can view any kind of security groups, which has it will give you a more detailed version of what is the functional area it belongs to, what are the domains, and inside that, what are the subdomains, and how the domain and subdomain are, given a permission. Again, the view access or the modify access. Okay. And also the child and parent relationship with the domain and the subdomain, right? If you remember in the previous class where we have seen one domain which has below that we also have the view of the subdomain. Okay, so to a domain, if you are giving access to a parent domain, so domain is called as a parent domain. If you are giving the like modify access to the parent domain, right? The same access, the child domain, this subdomain is called a child domain. This subdomain also will have the same access. Okay, but if you wanted to override that, let's say on the main domain you have modify, but in the child domain you wanted to give certain child domain is nothing but out of the main domain, you have one of the activity is called as a child domain. Okay, so for child domain, you wanted to give a different permission. then also you have a options to override the parent permission. So in Workday, if you can go to the view domain, you will have all the options to view. Let's say in this slide, right? If you can go. Yeah. So if we can see here, also set of financial accounting. So this is the domain, the financial accounting. Under that, we have all the accounting tools, custom categories, fiscal schedule, journal rules. So these are the subdomain inside it. Okay. And when you see the domain security policy, the accounting rules, right? The status is active, inherit, parent permission. Okay. So
Okay.
whatever the permission the parent domain means the main domain has, all the subdomain also will inherit the same permission.
Okay.
But you wanted to, let's say, out of this subdomain, right? If you wanted to give any specific child domain with a different permission than the main domain, then there is a option of override parent permission.
Okay.
Okay. So for override parent permission, it will override the parent, and then you can select the domain, which subdomain you wanted to override, and then you can just modify based on, you can provide the permission, whether the view or modify to that child domain, subdomain.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And also you can see here, right, integration permission, right? For any domain, we'll have the domain security policy. So for integration, especially for security group, which security group will have this integration permission, whether it is get or put. So this anything related to integration also, you can provide the permission to a particular domain. Okay.
Yep.
And then we have the business process security policy. So any business process, we can view any kind of business process, let's say hire, termination, change job. These are the different kind of business process, right? Which has the different set of actions that need to be performed based on the business process steps. Okay. So any business process, it has the initiation task, which security group will have the access to initiate the business process, who all the security group who has the view access to the business process, or who can approve it. Okay. And who can cancel. So approve, cancel, rescind, these are all actions related to the business process, right? Let's say, for example, termination action, termination business process, right? For termination business process, which security group can initiate who can perform the termination action for any employee. So ideally, in any of the organization, we provide this access to the talent service or the core HR data management team who just perform a transactional data in Workday, right? So we define the security and then we provide, based on this business process security policy, we provide certain kind of access to that. So you can say that, okay, all these actions we can give to one security group, right? So in the real time, ideally, it is not that. So in a real time scenario, we'll have, let's say, whenever the talent service team initiate the termination action, right? It has to go to the manager for approval or any kind of HRBP. So for approval, right? So these kind of actions that need to be, given to this certain security group. So we can define based all this stuff, all this, actions for any business process based on this business process security policy. Is that clear, Sunil?
Yep.
Okay. So please stop me wherever you feel that I'm going very fast or you are not clear on that topic. Okay.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so this is all about here for business process, right? One of the create expense report. Okay, so if you can see here for this, who can start the business process?
Okay.
And we also have the security group defined for that, who can start the business process. Let's say for create expense report. So create expense report, ideally as an employee, I wanted to go and then I will create my expense report and submit it, right? So
Right.
the employee security group, employee itself will have the access to the expense report. So we provide the employee itself and contingent worker itself. So for employee and for contingent worker, right, it is completely two different security groups, because always the in certain scenario for employee will be treated very differently than the contingent worker, because contingent worker will not have much benefit applicable in any organization, right, depending on their contract. So wherever there is a contingent worker are applicable for any of these tasks, right, we need to define the security group for even for the contingent worker. Okay. And security group who can delegate this action to others. Delegation means, you know, the delegation concept, right? If I wanted to delegate certain access to during in my absence, if I want to delegate something to one of my peer or one of my manager, then even I can do that, right? I can do that action related. So this here we can also define who can delegate this. And
Okay.
initiating action, again, create expense report for pre-hire or for applicant, who are the security group who can initiate the actions. So based on this security, they can initiating the action. Again, submit the expense report. Okay, who are the security group who can submit the expense report? If you can see here, for each of the business process, right, we are defining, initiating, who can submit it, who can approve, and below that here we don't have the screenshot, but if you can view any of the business process policy, right, even you can also see that for approve, for rescind, for canceling the transaction, who are the security group who have the access. So we define based on each action for any kind of business process.
So quick question, which is the report which tells me that all these business process security policies?
You can just see first, you can go to any view business BP : the business process name you can enter. You can go to the business process, right? And from that, you can go to the view business process security policy. There it will take you to that.
Can you show me in Workday?
Yeah, we can. Here we have the business process security policy, or the edit business process security policy. We have business process security policy for functional area. So these are all the delivered report. Okay.
So
that are related to the
run one. Yeah, I want to see
yes.
how I
So
can.
for the functional area, let's say if I wanted to provide as, okay, I'm just selecting.
So how do you know which area to pick up? Like if I want to see a hire, who all can hire? How do I know?
So let's say for business process side, right? For you wanted to first know the functional area. Okay.
Right.
You just go to view functional area.
View functional area. Okay.
Okay. So functional area. So it is functional area. So it will take you to all the functional area that is enabled or not enabled, whether it is there or not. It will be listed here.
So I want to now check hires. So how do come here?
So you can filter, okay, and then you can just type in. So for hire, pre-hire process, okay, this is one functional area. Or if you wanted to know, understand HCM, right? Headcount, okay. So you wanted to see contingent, right? If you can type. Okay, Okay. So we have the contact information, the customer contract. So everything will be listed here.
Right. So what I'm trying to tell you is that I want to say hire an employee in my test system, right? I do not know if I have access. So how do I start? I can always proxy in as somebody, but now I want to first know who I can proxy in as, or how, right? So how do I get to that? How do I get to that?
Okay. So in that, first you can visit the business process. Okay. For example, hire. Okay. So if you can go to the business process for hire, right? We have the hire default definition, which is the normal. Or else if they have created, let's say, hire stakeholder or hire employee as a business process, right? They copy the standard one and then they create their own custom business process. Okay. So first the business process. You can go to the business process over here. And then we have so many actions, right? This is a related action. You can go and then you can view here. So we have these are first business process. Here you can edit the definition, maintain help text, all the rule based, everything. Okay. But the business process policy. Okay.
Right.
So this is the business process policy where you can go and view the business process policy. Okay.
Okay.
And then when you get into the business process policy, right, then here you have the functional area. So this higher business process comes under the staffing functional area. So normally nobody will buy hat or how many functional areas we stars come to any functional area, right? So here in this way, you can first identify, okay, this is my functional area.
Staffing,
and then staffing. And then who can start the business process? So here you wanted to give access, that you don't have the access to hire any employee, right? So here, by looking into the business process security policy, under each of this action, you will be able to understand, okay, so I'm missing with this. I doesn't belong to one of these security group, and hence I cannot perform the hire action, okay, for any employee.
But this is a web service, right? The task should be a different action, correct? The same action.
No, this is the business process.
No, initiating action is this hire employee web service. That's from the web service, correct?
Yes, it is from the web service. Again, we have so many. Okay, you can will have the
initiating action hire employee, right? This is the one I am looking at, correct? The one below.
Yes.
Can you go down?
So first it will be the web service, because normally we'll have the integration, right, for the hiring to load the data. So it start with that. Again, initiating action, you have to convert to employee consent worker. Again, security group who can delegate this action to others. Here we have defined the again the managers. So initiating action, hire employee. So this is the one which you are looking into. Hire an employee directly from their employee agreement. So these security groups, if you can see, only these are the security groups who have the access to hire employee transaction. So either you can go to any of these security group, and then you can add, you want to do X, you can modify the security group and then you can add, or else you can create a one and then you can just add it under the security groups.
Okay.
And then you will be able to access. Okay. And security group who can delegate this action to others. Ideally here it is defined as a manager. So manager can do that. So this delegation, any kind of delegate functionalities are applicable for manager, because manager, when they are on leave or for a short-term or long-term, there will be a lot of approvals, right? Let's say I have submitted an expense report and my manager need to approve. So if the manager is on leave, then the manager will delegate to another manager, which the acting manager will approve on behalf of this manager. So that is the reason this delegated action is also important for the managers. They will have the access. Okay. And even we have mass hire employee, initiating actions, right? All this security group defined. You can just go define the security groups who can do action step in the business process. Okay. So action step means again in the business process also we have a review employee hire, verify proposed employee ID. So each of the actions, which security group can perform that. Okay. So we also defined based on each action we provide this define the security group access. Okay. And who can do actions on the entire business process. Okay, let's say you don't want to provide on each action stepwise, but you want to provide on the entire business process. So here is the area which have the view all access for the entire business process. Let's say if any of these security group, right, if you are part of some security group which is not listed here, then you will not have even the view access for that business process. Right. If you can see here, we don't have employee itself or a normal employee will not have access to view the business process. So we can see it is not listed here. So as an employee, when the employee log into the system, they cannot search any kind of business process. Okay.
Okay.
View completed only. So when the business process is employee itself, so any kind of actions which is completed, then the employee will have access to view that. Okay, like employee can, as I said, they can go and view their actions, like their business process, what are the step it has been approved. As an employee will have access, so those you can define. And for approve, for ad hoc approve, for canceling the web service, you all defined based on this. You can see the manual advance, deny web service, redirect. So all this you defined based on your business process security policy. Got it?
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. So you can play around like that. You can play around if you don't know any functional area or anything, any domain also, if you don't know, if you doesn't have much detail about that, you can just directly go to the business process and then you can drill down by looking into this. Okay. So now we have this, and then the business process security policy, right, which we have discussed now. Okay, so here we are completed with our first module, which has the very basic information about the security, about the domain, security for view, security for securable item, and then how you can drill down for all the action, how you can see what are the defined, how the security groups are defined. Okay, and then the child and parent security policy inheritance versus the override. How can we view that? So here we are completed with this. Now we can get into the lab activity, right? So the lab activity, I want you to just access this transaction, okay? And then you can, so that at least you will have some idea how can you view any security and how can you view the, how can you run this report in the Workday tenant, okay? Let's see, so here one of the lab activity as sign in as Logan McNeil. For the community access, we always log in as a Logan McNeil. Okay. And first here, let's now see how Jeff Gordon and Noah Pierce as a user were able to access the items shown in the previous demonstration via what security groups. Okay. So this is the business case where you will act as a security administrator. So first main thing is what in security, whatever the report we are checking, that view security for securable item, view domain, functional area. So all the access will be falls under the security administrator. Okay. If you do not have the very minimum security access, even you cannot perform this transaction in your Workday tenant. So ideally, and any organization, okay, especially for the security administrator, so there will be two kind of security administrator and the security configurator. Okay, they will define the security like groups based on the functional areas. They define the security for certain group of people, or else not everybody, not all the Workday consultant by default will have this security access, because security is the very key factor for Workday. You can play around. Whoever has the access, they can play around anything in Workday tenant, right? They can change any kind of business process. They can provide the access to certain group of people. They can do anything in the tenant. So that is the reason ideally this access will be given to very few people. But if you have the security administrator access, at least you can view all this transaction report. Like you have access to your organization, right? Workday tenant, you have access. So are you able to perform, at least search these kind of reports in your Workday tenant, Sunil?
Yeah, and the tenant you gave me, right? Yeah. So
okay, the tenant we have given, you have all the access in that tenant.
right.
Okay.
No, not
I'm
in that.
talking about
My
in
work
your
tenant. No.
work tenant.
I mean,
Okay.
maybe not. I do not know. I can always
Okay.
check. So,
Mm-hmm.
so if I am going through my course material right now, hold on. So what lab should I finish for today? Lab module 1, 2, and 3, the whole thing.
Yes, module 1, 2, and 3, the whole
Okay,
thing.
I'll finish that. That's fine. I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
you can.
we can discuss in tomorrow's session. We can discuss like what are the challenges that you face during the lab activity. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
And then.
So I will finish lab activity 1, 2, and 3 today. Okay.
Yes, you can finish this lab activity 1, 2, 3. Just
Okay.
log into the tenant. Just
I
let's
can.
see if you have.
Yeah,
you
I can
can,
share.
right? You have already
Yeah.
checked. Okay.
I have checked. Let me share my screen with you.
Yes, you can just.
Interesting. I do not know because you are sharing. Maybe I can't share. Is that the way it works? I don't
Yes,
see it. I
it
don't see.
might be. Now
I
you
don't.
should be able to, because I have stopped sharing. So now you should be able to share your screen, Sunil.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, this is my screen. So I'm in, right? I'm
Yes,
in as Logan McNeil. So I can do the
yes,
exercise. Yeah.
Yes. You can just type in view security or just BP.
View security for securable items.
Securable items. Yeah, the last one. Yes.
Okay. And staffing. Let's see.
Yes, staffing you can. Yeah.
Okay, so I will finish the exercise. I mean, I'm good at. I can follow the steps and do it. So let's go to the next thing and then, yeah.
Yeah, I think there is one more report. I'm not sure if we have discussed in our last class. View security for Workday account.
No, okay, views.
Okay. Just
the last things we discussed were view security group for users and view security for securable item. So what is it called? You said view
security for Workday account, or just give it. Just view security or security Workday account. You just type in. Search as security.
View security. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just view security. Yeah. Workday account that view, just delete that view. First, you started with the view, right? Yeah, remove that and then, yes, security analysis. Yeah, sorry.
So what is this do?
Security analysis for Workday account. So Workday account is nothing but any user, right? You wanted to view
Security
for any
analysis. Okay.
For Workday account. Let's say here you just type in, let's say Jeff. You just type as search as Jeff.
So I just you put the Workday account. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Jeff Gordon, right? So here you can, as a security admin, right? You wanted to know, sometimes you wanted to know that what access that security that Workday user has. Okay.
Right.
Then you can just type in the Workday account. Workday account is nothing but any user's user ID. Okay. And then you can see what are the security groups this Workday account has access to. And here it is a detailed view, right? For report, what are the report? Modify access, and this security Workday account has, okay? And report for view access, and report and task for put access. So similarly for the business process type, also business process for initiating and for approve, for view access. So everything that this report is very useful if you wanted to sometime to troubleshoot for any of the Workday account. If you for any of the user, you wanted to see, you know, the user ID, and you wanted to understand the security group, what kind of access this user has, then this is the report that is very beneficial when you wanted to troubleshoot any issues.
Okay, that's fine. So I can put, yeah, I'll check this in my account later. Okay, that's fine.
Yes, yes, that's absolutely fine.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing, and so
yes,
we are doing the next chapter.
Yeah. Yes, we will go to the next
I have
chapter.
a hard stop at 10. So it's 9:30 here. So we have half an hour more.
Half an hour more, right? Even same, right. Even I do have. So we will cover in another, we'll finish in another 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just set my screen. So here we have the module 2. Okay. So what is the security profile? What do you mean by the security profile? Okay. Why this comes always here? These are options to. Okay, so let it be. So what do you mean by the security profile? So ideally for any user security access, right, is a union of permission across all user security group. So again, each security group has different permission to multiple security policy. Let's say we view into any security group, right? Inside that we have domain, subdomain, each security group has. So how you define the security, permission based on the view permission or get permission, view or modify permission, and what are the method for each security group that we have. Okay. Let's say Workday delivered, which are automatically assigned. So when we hire any employee, right, based on your certain transactions, based on the actions, there will be automatically, these are the securities groups which will be assigned to the worker. Okay. So for example, that all employee itself, but all contingent worker. So based on the worker type, so this will be automatically assigned to this, some security group will be automatically assigned to the employee. So this these are the Workday delivered security groups. Okay. And let's say for the contingent worker, right? Again, based on the contingent worker type. So the for contingent worker and for employee, the employee type is the key factor, right? Which define whether it is a employee or it's a contingent worker. So again, for the based on the employee type, these are the security group which will be automatically assigned, and ideally these automatically assigned security groups are the Workday delivered security groups. Okay, and is that clear, Sunil?
Yes.
Okay. And the second one we have tenanted, like in our Workday tenant, manually assigned one. Okay, so based on our employee, based on a certain team, and based on our requirement, we manually assign certain security groups to a certain group of people. Let's say I am working as a Workday consultant, right? We will have I will have the implementer access, so that I can do any kind of Workday development job, implementation of any of the HCM module or any of the finance module, that I will be assigned to that. So these are the manually assigned securities based defined, like you can just go to any user and then you can manually assign the security groups to any kind of users to provide that specific security access. Okay, like we have the report writer. So ideally, in any organization, if you have a reporting team, there will be for every organization they keep as a reporting team as a separate team. Okay, so anything, any reporting requirement in Workday, irrespective of any kind of module, let's say whether it is finance or HCM, or let's say absence, within HCM we have payroll, we have time, absence, compensation, right? Irrespective of any of these reporting requirement, this reporting team will be responsible to set up any kind of reporting requirement, to define any kind of reports in Workday tenant. So you provide the access as a report writer access to those employees, right? So these are the way that you, again, in your Workday tenant, let's say we have an implementation tenant, then we have the production tenant. So again, each of these tenant we manually assign to any users based on our requirement, based on the team. Let's say we have a payroll system or the integration system, we have a finance administrator. So based on this security group, we just manually assign to any employee. Okay. And another is tenanted membership derived based on the security group criteria. Okay. So ideally, these are the role-based security groups. Okay. So HR partner or our we have the location-based HR business partner or the talent service, which are defined as a role-based security groups. Okay, so whenever any employee will be hired on a particular role, then these security groups will be automatically assigned based on the membership criteria that is defined in the security group. Got it? Okay, so these are the different type of method in Workday tenant, which are automatically assigned, which are manually assigned, and then the role based on your particular role, the defined security group will be assigned to the employees. Okay, so yeah, again, the Workday delivered security group, right, which we have discussed, like when a new Workday account is created for a newly hired employee, Workday assigns self-service or the employee itself or all employee security groups. Okay, so this will give the user access to perform all kind of self-service related tasks. Okay, so these are the what we discussed. Again, this slide talks about the same thing, and we have a public, like these are the all termini or all retiree, project manager, constant worker. Okay, these are also all the Workday delivered securities. Okay, and self-service means ideally we have employee as self, constant worker as a self, or the customer contract itself. So anything that is itself also, these are also Workday delivered security groups, which will be automatically assigned to the employees based on these criteria. Okay, and we have implemented access, let's say, which we normally, any kind of Workday consultant provide, or the Workday partners, they will have the implemented access to the Workday tenant. So these are also different kind of securities that is defined. Workday delivered securities, right? Initiator or manager's manager, role maintainer. These are also a Workday delivered security groups. Okay. So again, I think we have already discussed this thing. I will also again tell you the same thing. Report for viewing and security. So these are the reports which you can access in your Workday tenant in order to understand what the user have particular access, or which domain you wanted to drill down, you want to troubleshoot any of this issue. So these reports, these Workday delivered reports will help you to understand the user security access. Okay. So let's say for the view security group for user. Okay. You wanted to, let's say you wanted to view your security access. What are the security groups that you have the access to? Then you can access this, and then you can provide your employee like Workday account, and then you can see what are the security groups you have the access to. Right. Or else you can go to any worker, and then from the related action also you can get into the view security group for user. You can access that, and then you can view. It will list down all the security groups. Okay, which security groups the employee has access to. This is the first very Workday delivered report. Right. Security analysis for Workday account. This is the just now we have gone through, right? The security analysis for Workday account report. So it provides a view of user access given all this security group permission, whether the employee has the reporting access, view access, modify access. So complete list this for any kind of Workday account. Yes, Sunil?
What is the difference between the first two?
Okay, so first two, it will tell you only the security group access. Okay.
For the user.
Let's say for a user, I just wanted to know that I have what kind of security group access. Let's say report writer access, or the implementer access, or the employee as a self access. Okay. Here you can just view only the, first only the security groups. You don't see anything else in that. Okay, only it will list down all the security group that a user is assigned to. Okay, but the second report is, it will list down first the Workday account, the user, and then it will list down the security group. And in that security group, if you have seen that, we have the whether the under reports also, what are the report that user have access to, whether the view access or modify access, or for that functional area, whether if it has the business process, view, approve, deny access. So it will give you a complete security analysis of a user access. Okay, so this is the difference between these two reports. Got it? And view security group, again, you wanted to view any security group detail, you just go to the view security group, just mention the security group, and then you will see the domain, the functional area. You can also see the business process, the security policy, and what kind of security permission you have, the access has that particular security group. Okay. And action summary for security group. So this is list all the domain and the business process security policy that security group has permission, and detail about each of the security policy. So this is also one of the Workday delivered report. You will be able to, you can just access. So once you are done with your lab activity, right? I think in this lab activity also you will have, there will be certain assignment which they will ask you to enter, and you can view that. You can access in your tenant, and then you can see in detail. Okay. Okay. And view security for securitable item. So here it again it shows all the domain and the business process security policy provides, and what is the securitable item for that let's say for security, right? Report writer security. Okay, what are the for the report writer security? What are the security items? The create a report, run report, or any different kind of task level, right? We have again defined. So based on the task level, based on what are the security items under that security group has. So you can also view this report for it, if you want to understand it, detailed security or domain related to that security. Okay. So these are all the delivered report or the delivered report. You can just access and then you can view that.
Okay.
So, sorry. Okay, we complete this. Now we have the self-service access constraint. Okay, so what is in the previous class we were discussing about the constrained and the unconstrained access, right?
Right.
So constrained access means that you will be able to view a specific constrained data. Okay, let's say if they have given location is constraint, right? So only on the defined role-based location, let's say in the location, if I am defining office location as a Bangalore or Mumbai, so any group that fall in under this location, only they will have the access to. Okay, so and also it is like constraint. It can be region, it can be country, or the location based. So anything you wanted to define it different, only specific constraint security, then that is only the user will have access only to view that constraint area, the task that is security group is defined to. But unconstrained access means it will just provide complete access. Like you are aware about the proxy, right? Star proxy and stop proxy.
Yes.
So whenever we do a star proxy, right? So star proxy means what? It will have access. They can proxy any user. They can view anything. Okay. Again, so proxy, if you have unconstrained proxy access, then you can just proxy any user in the organization. Like whether it is a from India or from US or from any region or for any location. But certain organization, right, they provide a constrained proxy access. Let's say my the APAC HR team will have access, proxy access only for the APAC region only. So that time they provide proxy access for a constraint based on the region. Okay, then they can proxy any employee who falls under the APAC region. Only they will be able to proxy. They cannot proxy anything, any employee outside of APAC region, let's say for US or for EMEA. They cannot proxy any employee. They can just go and view access, but they will not be able to proxy. So these are the difference between your constrained and unconstrained security access.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
Okay. And restriction, right? It also talk about the same. So domain security policy for functional area, right? You wanted to code payroll as a domain if you wanted to. So this is a sort of functional area, and you wanted to view what this domain security policy is all about. Let's say for the self-service payroll, right? Under the self-service payroll, you have self-service payroll for MyPay and different tasks related, right? So for my payment election, so my payment election means it's nothing but I can define my bank detail. Okay, so this falls under the expense and also payroll, because we defined our bank detail and what kind of expense, whether it is a company expense or the personal expense. Also, we also define that. So based on allow security group types, so we are providing access to the pre-worker and also a worker. Okay. And you can see what are the securitable actions. So when you again drill down to this, inside this, then you will be saying what are the securitable actions that this my payment election domain policy consists of. So in that way, you can have the view access about any kind of domain. Also, you have if you wanted to edit the permission, you wanted to add, apart from these two security group, you want to define any other security groups, then you can go to the edit permission and then you can add those security groups.
So explain to me one thing. Okay, so I get that, for core payroll, right, self-service, the two security groups who have access are self-service pre-worker. I get it. Now, when you say securable actions, can you tell me more about securable actions? What actions?
Okay, so securable actions is nothing but, again, it will have inside for payment election. I'm not able to get anything to my mind. Like, let's say for maintain.
Can you go in Workday? Can you go in Workday and show me?
I'm just going to that. Okay, so let's say not payroll interface, worker data payroll. Okay, if we can go to the worker data payroll, see the functional area first, as you can see here, we have core payroll. Okay, and then you can see what is the domain security policy. Okay, and under this count the secure items. Okay, these are 62, but if you go inside to the domain security policy, okay, here you will be able to see what are the securable actions. So here, when you just give your cursor on that, it will take you inside what are the secure, tasks. Okay, that input. Let's say add payroll input by worker, delete a payroll input, or payroll input or not processed. So these are all the task based and also the report based, right? So each of these, you defined each of the task level, whether it will have the modify permission or the view permission or the get permission. We defined based on that. Okay.
Okay.
Because,
so what are these doing? I mean, what I'm saying is, I understood that security group. Okay, that core payroll is part of this security group, right? But what are these actions doing? Like, what am I? Like, what is the use for me for these actions? Like, what can I change? Like, what will this help me do?
Okay, this will help you do these kind of actions. Okay, so in Workday, everything is a task, right? Everything that you access is a task wise.
Exactly.
Okay?
Right.
Let's say if I want to add my payroll input, if I want to add my bank detail, right? That is also a task. Okay?
Exactly.
But if you don't have the access to add, so normally in certain organization, to add the bank detail, they don't provide access to the employees. Okay, they just collect the data from employee, and then only the HR, the data management team or the talent service team, they will have the access. So defining based on this security group, you can define whether they will have the modify access or the view access on this task type.
So can you give me can you do an example right now? Like, can you log in as somebody who has no bank access, then come here, add the bank access? I want to see in action. You know what I'm saying? It is okay to see, to read whatever you have, PowerPoint. But I want to see in action. I want to see what did this do?
Okay. So definitely, Sunil, we can do those things. So in our upcoming session, right, where we create a security group, okay, while creating a security group, we will provide this access, and then you will be able to see that, okay, this security group, I have added this, functional area task, and then you can see what are the actions that you will be able to do it or not to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I want to see.
And also we have, hold on for right now. Right now we are just, understanding bits and pieces wise. how can you view the report, how can you analyze the security, and how this security will help you to understand what the domain, inherit, security group or overriding. Right now, we are just discussing about the component of a security group. But when we create either the user-based or the role-based security group, right, that time you will have a complete view about how you are adding, removing, modify access, view access for any of the functional area.
Okay.
So definitely we will do that in our upcoming sessions.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I want to see it in action. The thing is that it is, I'm not a security guy. So if you say something, it's fine. But I want to know when you removed something, what happened? When you added something, what happened?
Yes, sure. And also this community access, right, will have certain kind of access that they will not allow. Okay, they don't provide. So let me first look into that, whether we have the, to edit. Definitely we cannot make any changes to edit to the Workday delivered or any existing security group, but we can create our security group and we can assign to any of the user and then view that. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So this is how like secureable item, like secureable actions that you can view, and also the report and task permission, right? So if you are for any kind of report related about for this functional area of the domain, you provide the view access and modify access. Let's say we have the payroll auditor, right? They will only have the view access, means they can only run the report related to this domain, worker payroll input, right? They cannot edit the report, or they cannot edit or add any kind of make any changes or schedule any report. So this is how we define this. And then for the integration permission also, like which are the security group, they will have the access for the integration permission. So we defined everything that you will be able to view in this view domain security policy. So in our ideal scenario, like in any organization, right, they don't disturb any of the delivered Workday security group. They create their own, and then they just make any kind of changes based on the team. They can just define to the different team based on this, based on their requirement. Okay.
Okay.
So I think it's already time. So we can just end our session today with this. Okay. And directly we can just get started with module 3. So for today, you can do the lab activity for module 1. Okay. But if you have some time, also try to do this lab activity for module 2, because whatever we have discussed, all these things, you can just complete these 2, and then tomorrow we will discuss first of your lab activity detail, and then directly we can get into the module 3.
Got it. Okay.
Thank you so much, Sunil. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.